Amazing to have everyone on here. I don't know if you guys have all met before, but great to have everyone here at once. And just to start it off, something that seems to have came out of this Convergence hackathon is the Serum Accelerator. So it would just be great. We can start from the top with Credix and really just hear what this Serum Accelerator means for your project and moving forward. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. So if Maxim and a couple other people get to the question, we can definitely move on to the next one. But let's just kick it off with Maxim at Credix.
All right. I think if you probably the listeners will know YC, Y Combinator in the Web 2, in the fintech, in the platform space. It's something similar, I would say. It's an accelerator that really tries to accelerate your project. So what we can actually have is all of us together, for example, in this call, but also the other participants helping each other. That's one thing. Then we have a lot of experts who will actually come and talk. We can ask them questions. We will have mentors. We can actually tap into different investors as well, or at least set up conversations. So it's really helping you on every front. Also things that we haven't seen in Web 2, right? So the whole community building, token economics, all of those aspects we can get some help on. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's super sweet. And in general, it would be great to just hear from a couple of you others building out projects. What specifically is something that piqued your interest that you heard about the accelerator program that you think will propel your team forward?
For us, the number one thing is our team has a lot of experience together working in fintech. We have an existing business in kind of Web 2 space in fintech. So being able to be around all these people, all thinking from a Web 3 perspective, is really powerful for us because it really changes our mindset significantly. And when we started our previous business, it was entirely bootstrapped as well. So going through a funding round, for example, is something that we just don't have that kind of exposure to, where the accelerator just is definitely going to put us in a position where we've got those mentors that can point us in the right direction.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear, Tom. It looks like we got a ton of agreement there. So I'm going to move forward to the next question here. And this one is a fun one. It's been sort of one of the hotter topics within specifically the Solana space, but it's definitely something that is gaining more and more traction and more importance as infrastructure tools and primitives are being built out on the chain. And what I'm referring to is the idea of composability. And it would be great. We can start here with Alberto from Vyper and just hearing about what your guys' thoughts are on composability and how it's important moving forward.
Yeah, so on our end, our view is that composability, it's really the key of what we make Web3 happen, and strive 3 years, 5 years down the road. Also, I see that here, in the chat, we have a lot of Web2 builders as well. And for me, as a former builder in Web2 as well, I just I'm really amazed every day by how composability is enabling us to go faster and faster. If I look back at what we're doing now, we're integrating with protocols and stuff like that. We don't even know them. We just have to take basically their SDK, or in some cases not even the SDK, because they are forking some programs which are already built on top of Solana, and we have access to what 100 millions of TVL, and we can get a users right away. When I was building in Web2, it was taking me weeks and weeks to wait for Facebook to approve the access to my API. And then 1 year after that, I did all the approvals. They come up and they tell me, if you don't provide me this and that document, in 1 week, I'm gonna shut down your business. And maybe you spend 1 year, days and nights, to bootstrap your community, and they just put your product 100% at risk, and you can literally shut down if they change their API rules or if they limit that. So for us, it's completely incredible, and it's also what is able, like to allow, these hackathon, to be, let's say, so successful, because like you have the same level like of accessibility of like big corporates, and there is no preferential access. Like I think it's really good, like also from a more intellectual and philosophical point of view, because everyone like is playing with the real same instruments, and everyone like is owner like of its own fate, and can try out whatever product. So like I think that this is like the way to go, and I think we all like this like a lot.
Yeah, it's great how open it is, and giving that perspective of the shift from Web 2 trying to tap into APIs and SDKs and the grueling process it can be, versus coming something like Solana, where you have a hackathon that's built on the idea of composability, where they want you guys to interact with other protocols and really leverage the technology that's out there. I think it's really amazing. Curious to break this down and just hear a little bit from Convergence, RFQ, Companion.to, Cashmere Wallet, even Credix. You guys can jump in. How it was building on top of potentially Serum. It sounds like most of you guys built on top of that at the very least, or other things you guys composed with or are thinking about doing so in the future. So we can kick this off with Convergence, jump to Companion.to, and then over to Cashmere, and then tie this question up or see if anything else exciting comes up.
Well, I have a little bit of experience integrating with Serum before. I can only say that the best implementation is just looking at the source code and looking at all this cross-chain functionality, which is useful to us, especially as we focus on a cross-chain to become another key, a cross-chain key eventually. Yeah, aside from that, we're looking forward to become Cerron's over-the-counter solution for market makers, and we're also focusing on a community. We're trying to become a community-owned protocol, and most of our community is composed of other DAOs. So very frequently you see very successful protocols amount to hundreds of millions of dollars on TVL, and they usually have run into the same scenarios often with the primitive that they're built on top of. They can either fork the solution, they can either integrate it into their stack, build it anew, or move away to a different protocol in order to mitigate fees or look for better alternatives. And this is very well justified. If the primitive and reward flow, then it's just there's no incentive for the protocol that's built on top of it to stick around. So we're looking into tokenomics and models to bridge that gap and eventually become member-owned protocol.
Yeah, that's amazing, Uwe. And just with the onus of keeping the primitives and the protocol open for the community and allowing that to be leveraged, just touches on this whole idea of composability and the importance. And it's great to see builders in the space understand this and posture towards this. Curious if anyone else has anything they want to add on top of that.
Yeah, actually, something that like also came up to my mind that probably like from like the conversation before like it was not clear, is that like I'm really happy like that like in this Web3 it's all about composability, because at the end the ultimate winner like of composability is not going to be us builders, but it's going to be the people that use our product, because they will find the right product for them. And this is something that like it's really important. And like of course like on our side like it's tough, because like even when we will have fully developed our product, like competition like is much more fierce, because they can build on top of us, but it's something that will push us to always improve our product and give the best for our customers.
Definitely.
And maybe one last thing to from my side is like it's interesting to see the effect of composability. What does it do? It actually makes you move way faster, because you have those building blocks. And things like, why does this work and why didn't we see this before? And I think it's two things, which is that like every protocol has a core focus, right? They're experts in something. They might come from some crazy mathematical background or something, do some crazy stuff on optimizing an order book on chain like Serum did. They might do lending and like Solana, for example. and then they open it up, right? You can even use it on chain. So it's this pure focus, but then also the opening up, which actually means that over time they will actually get more protocol revenue. And it's all those incentives which are actually aligned actually that make it work. And like Alberto says, the end user will probably not even see that it's a thing for Lego blocks underneath. But in the end, all those things together make it work and make us as a whole ecosystem move forward, and makes everything really intertwined under the hood. And I think that is super interesting to see.
Yeah, that was a ton of great insight. And it's just amazing to hear from you all that are building in the ecosystem. I think a really big thing behind this is that the space does move so quick, especially as we'll see more and more open source nature. It seems a lot of people are posturing this. And as Alberto said, it just creates a ton of innovation that ultimately benefits the user. It also, it just creates innovation overall because people are able to leverage other people's tools and not have to sit there and spin building infrastructure just to build an end game product. I'm curious, building on this a little bit more, and we can start with you, Rebecca. How has it just been developing on Solana? Have you had previous experiences in crypto? Maybe what made you find your team's home on Solana itself?
Yeah, absolutely. We started in Solana pretty late last year, and we hadn't built on it before. So also being pretty new to crypto, it's kind of an intimidating space. Like there's all these different tools and languages you have to learn, and understanding the ecosystem and all the communities. But we found it relatively easy to ramp up, mostly because like the community for Solana is just incredible. Like it's so easy to meet new people, and everyone is so supportive. So and plus like being able to leverage Serum was like a huge springboard for us, and kind of those two things combined really launched us forward.
Yeah, that's
I guess like I'd add to that, like for people who are like very young and green in the space and like maybe intimidated by like working on a new chain or just like working in crypto in general, like Solana, like for one, obviously much cheaper than Ethereum. We all know that. That would have been like a huge inhibitor trying to develop on Ethereum instead. But the community is just incredible, and we've hit points where we're just completely blocked and had maybe like a bug that we couldn't fix, and we found help in Discord channels, and people were able to help us get past certain things. So yeah, it's been really incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing insight here. And I'm curious if anyone else wants to jump in on how their developing experience has been on Solana. It just seems like there is a ton of incentives to be building on Solana, between tons of hackathons, lots of venture capitalist interest, and then even seeing things like the community coming together, things like the Hacker House World Tour, and all of these other events going on. It'd be great if anybody has anything to add on to that, or anecdotes of why it's been great building in Solana so far.
For us, like I mentioned before, new to Web3, working in Web2 previously, we were really blown away just with like the friendliness of people in general. Once we put ourselves out there with the hackathon, we just had a lot of people just reaching out and just offering to help us in whatever way they could, with nothing expected in return, kind of thing. And this is, founders of other protocols and things like that, just offering their help. And I think that speaks to the community like significantly, just that openness and willingness to like help other people just to improve the ecosystem that they're in. And I had a small anecdote, working with Solana. Part of our hackathon submission was we built a TWAP algorithm to fill orders for our users. So what a TWAP is, if you don't know, it's time-weighted average price algorithm. So basically, depending on the market conditions, you're filling an order over a specific period of time. And this might mean that you're filling with 24 executions within kind of a 24-hour period. And we're just laughing, if you didn't do this on Solana, what it might look like for the end user. Not a great result for sure, but yeah.